There you are.
Okay.
Hey, Mary. Mary
Oh,
is in my apartment, by the way, in the living room.
oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Oh, Mary. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good evening. This is very exciting energetically. Manu is going to present her download for tonight. And I'm having a little bit of technical, so I'm going to disappear as I read the theme to all of us because there's something going on with technology. So tonight is The Age of Brilliance, Part 11, The Portal of Harmony. Unlocking Resonance with Manu Mariel. This is not about staying calm, it's about becoming tuned. Harmony is the frequency that allows your brilliance to be heard without distortion, doubt, or delay. When you walk through this portal, you will enter a new field where your presence becomes music, your truth becomes power, and your life becomes a living symphony. Manu, are you ready to guide us through your transmission tonight?
Yes, I am. And you will take care of the waiting room, Sarah?
I will. I will.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. So you need to keep letting people in.
Yes, I got it. I have it. You do what you do best.
Okay. Talking about symphony, I mean, there comes a moment in every great symphony when all the instruments align, each in their uniqueness, each in full expression, and yet together they create something far greater than the sum of parts. That moment is harmony. Harmony is not sameness. It's not silence. It is not the absence of tension. It is actually a very conscious alignment of all frequencies. It is the art of becoming attuned to the rhythm of your soul and the resonance of the cosmos. It was so beautiful for me to really, as I was preparing for this session last night, it was so beautiful to really understand harmony in this level of depth. I've talked about the flourishing triad that many of you are already working with, and its flourishing harmony and humility. To understand that it is becoming attuned to the rhythm of your soul and the resonance of the cosmos was absolutely exquisite. So, what actually occurs when this happens? And what happens is your inner truth, your outer expression, and your divine assignment, all of them vibrate as one. That's really what is occurring here. So, in the age of brilliance, harmony is the portal. See, each of these portals that we've done work with, and I'm going to go over these in a moment, has played a very different role. Harmony unlocks resonance, the power to be heard, felt, and recognized as your true self without distortion, dilution, or noise. It brings coherence to the music of your being and synchronizes your signal with the infinite orchestra of creation itself. It is when you are in a state of harmony, that remembrance of you being the essence of the creator awakens, and you own your knowingness that you are the creator of your world. So let's look at how harmony relates to the previous portals. Coherence. Coherence was a portal of alignment. harmony builds upon it, turning alignment into resonance and resonance into impact. Synchronicity was a portal. Synchronicity revealed the timing of miracles. Harmony fine tunes your frequency so you become a magnet for the miraculous. Quantum manifestation, we worked with. It taught us how you can transmit your truth, and harmony ensures your transmission is received clearly, fully, and powerfully, enabling that manifestation to occur at quantum speed. Flourishing was your natural state. Harmony makes that state audible to others. It is actually the song of flourishing made visible to everyone. We did the sessions on, we worked on the portal of legend and legacy. Legend and legacy is what you leave behind. Harmony is how you live now, in truth, in tune, and in time. So harmony is the translator of brilliance. It takes that infinite light of your being and it expresses it in tones the world can hear and respond to. So today's session is about the 12 hallmarks of harmony. Each one is a tone, a key, a note in your living, breathing symphony. So as I walk through the 12 hallmarks, we are going to be awakening each of these and all of these together. So the first one, the first hallmark is attuned presence. So what is it? What do I mean by attuned presence? Attuned presence is the ability to feel fully, feel the moment, to hear, sense, and see beyond what is said. Now, what this means is if you are in attuned, I've talked about presence previously. When you are in attuned presence, you have attuned your sensory system to your presence. So your eyes show you not just what you're seeing, but what is actually being shown. Your ears let you know not just the sounds you're hearing, but what is actually being communicated, and so on. And how do you activate this? I mean, there are various ways. I mean, many of you have worked with me and I've taught you how to activate your sensory system. And that is a bit of more deeper work. At a very simplistic level, you could actually activate this attuned presence by beginning each day with just 2 minutes of stillness. You can place your hand on your heart and just simply ask, what is present right now? And, and then you can actually work with your sensory system, asking your eyes, given that this is what I'm present to right now, what is being shown to me? What is actually being communicated here? Sense into any feelings that you have. What am I meant to feel? And that will, you will be activated. Your attuned presence will be activated and it will continue throughout the day. Now, if once you activate it, what does this make possible? It makes a very deep connection possible. You become clear in terms of the insights you receive. You have instant awareness of what is actually real. And what opens up as a result of this, you become a tuning fork. Others feel safe and seen around you. You exude a sense of belonging that provides that feeling of safety. And the impact it has is relationships start to transform, misunderstandings dissolve, your decisions become clearer and sharper. Why is it important to have a tuned presence? Without a tuned presence, we operate on a delay, missing the opportunity of aliveness as life happens. And it's not worth it. It's so easy to do. And all you have to do is begin your day in this way that I'm suggesting, and you're in a tuned present throughout the day. Unless something, quite substantive happens that takes you out, you can come back using the same practice. When I sort of got to understand this, I just chose to do this heart check-in just for a couple of minutes. I chose to do it 3 times a day, just so that I got the feel and the vibe and a cellular memory, what it means to be in a tuned presence. There is a cost, of ignoring this. The cost of ignoring this really is that you react. And you know what a reaction is? It is a reactivation of an emotional trigger. Instead, you have an amazing opportunity to respond, which is reestablish a bond. When you're in the space of reaction, opportunities pass you by unnoticed. And the biggest gift that it gives us is that clarity and intimacy with aliveness. And when you have clarity and intimacy with aliveness, you have clarity and intimacy with life itself. And you're so present to this beautiful gift of life in which you are in a state where you are breathing that we have been blessed with by our Creator. So I've just returned from California. It's so nice to see so many of you that we met and worked together only less than a week ago. So it was beautiful to be there. And one of the catastrophic accidents that took place with Air India, as took off and actually didn't take off, and it's a huge flight that just landed on a college hostel, and not only everybody on the flight, died. There were several people from the hostel as well, crossed over, and many were injured. Now, it's been a long time since we've heard of anything like this occurring. So very easy to just step away from, presence. And it was important for me to really come up close and personal in terms of all of my sensory system with what had occurred. There was one other time that the Air India flight had gone down like this a long time ago, long time ago. I was a teenager at the time, and we were living in an apartment right on the ocean, and this thing had taken place just as Air India flight was taking off. It actually collapsed in the ocean, which is the ocean that we overlooked from the house. For many months afterwards, we would have pieces of arms and feet and accessories come up to the shore. So, I mean, it was all of those memories that, really started becoming very live, and how distressing it was at that time, let alone what might be going on right now. So I did go into, this 2 to 3 times of 2 minutes of stillness. What is present now? And given where I am right now, I could connect to many of the souls which just were not expecting this to happen. What I found was that yes, I did what was mine to do in terms of supporting souls to depart and reconnect to their divine light, so that at least their trauma and distress wasn't adding to the trauma and distress of their loved ones who were left behind. And I went into, so what is really being communicated here? Take nothing for granted. Take nothing for granted. Every moment is a moment of miracles. Acknowledge it, celebrate it, wherever you are. And before casting blame, really get to the truth of what actually occurred. What was really being shown to me was that all of those 600 odd people had in fact made a soul pact that if need be, they will depart, and they will depart together, only to return in their brilliance. So pretty much everyone at a soul level was in complete harmony with what had occurred. And once that release had occurred, into their light, they were at peace. And all that was needed was that, like, there was like a massive showering of peace that was being communicated, not just to their loved ones, because when an airline carrier like this goes down in such a visible way, it has an impact on all forms of air travel all over the world. So it was really just find peace in our passing, and celebrate each moment with yourself, with your loved ones. Don't put things off for another day. If there's something to be done and accomplished, do it. Because the only reality, was the other piece that I saw, was the only reality is what is. And this was absolutely essential for me to have gone through in this way, for me to be in a complete state of harmony to show up at our immersion in California. Because it was a deep immersion. People are going to go to parts of their being that they might never have been before. And it was wonderful for us to meet each other in person again. And for many of us, first time we were meeting in person. So it was important that the entire immersion was foundationed in a container of the age of brilliance, where everyone felt safe to be able to go deep, knowing that the scale of expansion was something that they didn't necessarily even know how and what that would look like. That is what opened up for us. Relationships did transform. Misunderstandings did dissolve. Decisions and choices that people were taking during the immersion and how it is impacting their life going forward has sharpened. The amazing thing was that attuned presence got anchored with everyone, and aliveness is what we were experiencing moment by moment. So let's look at the The second one, the second hallmark is energetic integrity. So what is it? What do I mean by energetic integrity? When your thoughts, words, actions, and emotions are in energetic alignment. That's what I mean by energetic integrity. Your thoughts, your words, your actions, and emotions are in energetic alignment. You experience this with that unequivocal flow of yumminess that I talk about. How do you activate this? A very simple question, which is you can ask, does this feel clean and true in every part of me? And that's how you know that energetic alignment is there in whatever it is that you're choosing to move forward with. What that makes possible, you trust in your own being. And trust is the innate frequency of the age of brilliance. So, trusting in your innate being gives you a surge of that knowingness of your own power. It's like a powerful, clean energy surge that you experience. And what opens up is authentic power that is respected without needing any force. So, when you show up somewhere and you share whatever there is to share, or you don't even say anything, simply by you being present, people experience that authentic power. You are respected, and when someone respects you, remember they are respecting themselves. And there is no force required. Others respond to your vibration even before you speak. That is the impact that occurs. And why is it important? Misaligned energy creates static and resistance. We've all experienced it. We've all experienced it even towards us from time to time. And we've certainly experienced it towards others. So, how do you work with something like this? It's quite useful to do like a weekly alignment audit, just review the choices that you've made, you know, clean up whatever is off. It's just a useful stock take to do once a week. The cost of ignoring this energetic alignment is you experience fatigue, you experience confusion, you experience resistance from others. And literally, you get that energetic alignment, the presence of your powerful impact is so strong that people themselves experience clarity within themselves, and resistance becomes futile. Not in a giving up sort of way, but in an enthusiastic joining forces sort of way. The biggest gift of this is the effortless magnetism that you experience. I mean, it's quite a lot that I'm talking about here. And I can go in and give examples on each one of these hallmarks, but we will barely get past two or three here. But we've talked about unequivocal flow of yumminess. I've just simplified that question saying, does this feel clean and true in every part of me? If I was to look back in my life, and there's a particular situation to do with a business partnership that I engaged in, and it actually went off track quite significantly, and it's taken a while to like unfold it all. But if I look back, when it began, it did feel clean and true in every part of me. But about 2 years in, something started going off. If I was asking this question once a week, I would have addressed this very early on. And we would not have had the huge scale of unwinding that has called for, simply because I did not ask this question. And it went so off track that, even I started questioning, uh, trusting my own judgment, that how could I have got it so wrong? And actually, when I look back literally 6 month by 6 month by 6 month over the last 5 years that this partnership has carried on, 6 years. And I knew exactly the point where the answer to does it feel clean and true in every part of me, this answer would have been absolutely not. And it was about 18 months into the partnership. So I could see the fact that I did not act on it in this way and kept moving. I started compensating for the lack of alignment. And that actually, literally took away life force from me, if anything. And therefore, to get certain things done would take a lot of follow up and required unnecessary force, which was not at all comfortable for anyone. And I had to work really hard to uplevel my vibrations every single day. But at that point, I didn't know that this is what was going on. I wasn't anchored in this hallmark of harmony. So I'm very happy to share it with all of you. Do this weekly audit. Fatigue, confusion, resistance will disappear. Effortless magnetism will be anchored. Let's look at the third one. If you have any questions, anything you want to share, please put in the chat. Sarah will be looking out for it. After the third one, I'll check in with you, Sarah. So the third one is conscious listening. Conscious listening, what is it? Hearing not just words, but what the truth that lies underneath. So here you're really listening for the truth that lies underneath. What is actually being communicated here? So how do you activate this? You activate it simply by asking, what is really being communicated here? And what it makes possible is healing, deep sense of understanding and influence. When you have this, what opens up? People feel heard and they become open to transformation. Conflicts melt, teams unite, souls awaken. Without this, we mistake noise for truth. What we hear, we take as truth, as opposed to what is truly being communicated. A practice that you can anchor would be listening with your full body, because your body is such a wonderful compass. You listen with your ears, heart, gut, and you listen with awareness in your, awareness of your field. What is actually being communicated here? There is a cost if you don't ignore this. The cost is disconnection, broken trust, failed leadership. And the biggest gift of actually following this through, conscious listening, is a very deep soul connection. And when you have a deep soul connection, soul is always anchored in limitless, eternal, unstoppable, indestructible. knowingness. And when you connect with other souls who are also anchored in this, anything is possible. Collaboration and co creation become absolutely effortless. Conscious listening, I use it all the time. I use it with my grandkids. We were absolutely working with this when we were in the immersion together. And that is where it is, we began the whole immersion with this conscious listening. And that is what created that opening for transformation, because it is a hallmark of harmony. Sarah, anything showing up for you? Anything you wish to share or ask? Or
I love, when I live day to day, daily, I'm present to miracles and being conscious and then receiving guidance or the instinct within my body, which happened tonight, actually, from here to Mexico City. But I never think about life as a symphony and the resonance and the harmony and the soul's rhythm. And I'm going to take on, so what's come to me is taking on, especially when I'm in a space of, when I feel stuck, or I'm kind of feel immobile and I'm sitting with myself, is to return back to this life as a symphony, because I feel there's an opening, there's a breakthrough there to have, is to see our daily lives and us in it, and as that we are part of this symphony, and the listening and the resonance and the energetic field for clarity. It's so beautiful, harmony. And so thank you. That's what come to me, is this grace, and I get love. For some reason, love is coming to me as well.
it's quite a beautiful one. I do agree. It's a beautiful portal. Let's continue. So the fourth hallmark is emotional resonance, allowing yourself to feel fully without attachment or suppression. Allowing yourself to feel fully without attachment or suppression. And I just realized that before I went to Bali all those years ago, when I just couldn't feel anything, emotional resonance was absent. A lot of the time, emotional resonance is compromised, not necessarily absent. But let's look at how you can activate it, what it makes possible, and what is the cost of ignoring it, so that we can, and what practice we can put in place to work with this. So how do you activate it? You acknowledge emotions as energy in motion. That's what emotion is. It's energy in motion. Feel and then move. There's one of the flourishing codes which talks about anything you wish to resolve, you move. I think it's about moving. And this is where it's coming from. It reactivates that emotional resonance. Even this understanding that energy in motion is emotion is very powerful for us to understand, okay, what is this energy that is in motion right now, which defines the emotion I'm feeling? I talk about anything that you give energy to, you get more of. Your emotions are a great indicator for what it is that you're giving energy to. So if you're feeling frustrated, if you're feeling let down, then you're giving energy to that somewhere in your life. Make a conscious choice to give energy to that which you want more of and get a move on. That is the way you would activate this. What it makes possible It brings about flow, it brings about honesty, it brings about, what people often term as emotional maturity. And what that opens up for us is a dramatic leap in our own emotional intelligence that is both inspiring and grounding. The impact that it has is everyone thrives, teams thrive, you thrive, children feel safe, you expand. And when I say thrive, thrive automatically activates the six cylinders: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, social, and environmental. And why is this important? It's important because when you suppress energy that is in motion, that we call as emotion, what you're doing is you're creating distortion because it is not suppressed. It is energy in motion, it is moving. It might go somewhere else. And a lot of the time, this emotional distress, which is energy in motion, lodges itself in different organs of ours when we attempt to suppress it. So it causes distortion where you start feeling, oh, yeah, it's okay, it's okay. It's not okay. Because what all you've done is you've directed that suppressed energy that is in motion so that it starts to work on any particular organ in your body that is not as strong at that time. And it creates a distortion, and it will surface another time in the form of a physiological illness. A simple practice, which is quite an easy one to integrate, at the end of the day, you can do like an evening emotion reflection. What did I feel today? And why? Simple question, nothing complicated, nothing to be done about it. You're just doing a reflection. That's it. And it won't take you very long either. And there is a big cost of ignoring it. The cost of ignoring it is burnout, bitterness, breakdowns. And when you take it on and don't ignore it, the biggest gift that it gives you is emotional freedom. Energy can move freely. You feel the strength of being in your inner truth, and you show up with authenticity in everything that you do. That has a power in itself. In many ways, it's that emotional resonance is what I arrived at before we began the immersion in the context of the accident, the Air India accident. Emotional resonance is what I'm working with when I hear of various, news items around war or bombing. And, I live in Dubai and I have many Iranian friends. Many of their loved ones have gone in the last couple of days. So I'm very present to all of that. What this does, this emotional resonance, is it really allows you to feel fully. And I know what it was like for me when I shut off my emotions and I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel anger and I didn't feel joy. Aliveness absolutely was missing. I was going through the motions. And to feel that vibrant vitality required hard work. Whereas getting into a state of emotional resonance, working through everything that I've shared with you, allows me to feel fully. And it also allows me to know and feel the miracles that are occurring in the moment, despite everything else that may be going on. And that gives me that wonderful, thriving feeling. It allows me to connect to how Age of Brilliance is playing out in the different layers of our planet and how that is, surfacing. I'm able to see that whilst it is very deeply emotionally distressing to see parts of the world, light up in warlike energies in motion, I know that it is not connected across the entire world. So therefore, there are parts of the world that are equally lit up with people reconnecting to their light. There's greater awareness, there's greater consciousness that is rising. And there is a coexistence that we are, a realm of coexistence that we are entering into. And the more of us that remain anchored in a state of trust, the bigger our amplification is. So I also see that allows me to have that emotional resonance fully. The fifth hallmark is vibrational discernment. What is vibrational discernment? It is the ability to sense what raises or lowers your vibrational frequency. How do you activate this? Before you commit to anything, ask, will this elevate me? Before you take any action that is a reflection of a choice you've made, ask, what is the consequence of this action, of this choice? And if I was to choose this consequence, will this elevate me? This is the beauty of the Age of Brilliance, it literally brings you home to you. And the more you work on doing that, which enriches your brilliance, the more your brilliance shines through and activates the brilliance in others. What it makes possible is freedom from drama and alignment with truth. And when you have that freedom from drama and you're aligned with the truth, what opens up for you is high frequency choices, high frequency connections, high frequency opportunities that are in complete support of your destiny. The impact is, as my grandson Elio will say, space bending and time collapse. You curate your world instead of being consumed by it. You proactively curate your world. So why is this important? Every yes and no shapes your field. Your field, remember everything, when we did the quantum manifestation, we talked about the quantum field. Everything occurs in your quantum field first before it occurs in reality. Everything that you feel you have dissolved or gotten rid of from your physical reality remains in the quantum field until you have finally released it. Now, what you're doing here is every yes and no shapes your field. So it's instant impact. A practice could be as simple as the hell yes test. If it's not a full yes, it is a no. If it is not a full yes, it is a no. No maybes. And then you make your choice. Okay, it is a no, and I'm going to choose to do this anyway. What are the consequences of that? Right, this is the consequence. So if I declare this as my choice, if I declare this consequence as my choice, does it elevate me? And go forward. Ultimately, the choice is yours. The cost of ignoring vibrational discernment is energy leaks, repetitive pain. And when you really take on vibrational discernment, the biggest gift you receive is the gift of eternal, regenerative gratitude. The consequence of that is inner peace and outer expansion. That results in even more grace and gratitude. So when I work with each of these hallmarks, I literally go into, I like to look back and see some milestone situations that have occurred in my life to do a mapping of how a particular hallmark has played out there. Because I mean, I didn't know about these things when those incidents took place. But what you will be amazed about is that if you take some of the most vibrationally uplifting incidents in your life, you will see each of these playing out for you. When I look at the moment I decided I was going to go to Bali for 3 weeks, I didn't ask the question, will it elevate me? But actually, when I look back, before I committed to finally going ahead with it, there was some question I asked, which made me feel, yeah, it is going to actually, I felt it was going to expand me out of the illness that I was trapped in. If there was a physical illness, and of course, there was this mental trap of do, being trapped in this overdoing and over busyness. And the moment I did make that choice, all the drama in my life just simply dissolved. And it was that choice that connected me to the truth of what it is that I wanted more of in my life, living an extraordinary life where all aspects of my life coexist with ease, grace, and joy. And it opened up high frequency choices. The people I met, the places I visited, the amazing, amazing experiences I had with every person that supported my journey over the 9 years. I couldn't even have known what to ask for those people to show up in my life, and they did. Simply a function of vibrational discernment opening up. There were many people that I also shut down because vibrational discernment called for that to be the case. And I actually started curating my world instead of being consumed by it. I would feel into the yes, the hell yes test, you know. And most of the times it was, if it is not a full yes, it's a no. So I do see that. And I also recall there are times where I did not follow through with a full yes. And I experienced the energy leak. I experienced that loss of vitality. I experienced a pattern of pain, encouraging me to really stay with the full yes. And yeah, I do experience inner peace and outer expansion. That is the way life is playing out at the moment. I'm going to go to the sixth one, and then Sarah, I'll come back to you again, because there's so much to be done here. The sixth hallmark is relational harmony. Relational harmony, what is it? Seeing others as our co-composers, not competitors. I talk about collaborators and co-creators. So I guess a co-composer would be a co-creator of the symphony. In the context of symphony, given that is what harmony is, you see others as co-composers, not competitors. And sometimes what they're composing is not something that is going to be part of a symphony, but they are co-composers nonetheless. So they do have their own innate art that calls for expression, and it's up to them. Sometimes they'll express that with you, and other times they'll do it themselves. How do you activate this? By practicing appreciation over expectations. So what do you appreciate about whoever it might be? Even if they have let you down, multitude of times, there's always something that you can appreciate. You don't have to work with everyone, but staying in the vibe of appreciation, you actually neutralize the risk of sliding into fear, because fear is false expectations appearing real. So when you're practicing appreciation, you're very anchored in what is. Expectation is what is not, hasn't occurred. It's just something that you made up. So by activating practicing appreciation does not mean you have to accept everyone or anything and everything that anyone has ever done. You feel whatever they have done that may not be there in service of your highest good or even their own or of the world, that's fine. They have done that. Feel it. You decide how you wish to get back into your own emotional resonance around it. And just so that you can be in a state of relational harmony within yourself, find if there is anything to appreciate. Even appreciating that which gives you clarity of what not to do is worthy of appreciation. What it makes possible is it makes possible collaboration, intimacy, and a regenerative connection to those people, opportunities that are here to be of service to you, to realize what your soul's calling is. That is what it makes possible. It opens up your ability to attract allies, not friction. And what impact that has is partnerships blossom, loneliness dissolves. And you're never lonely. We actually are never lonely, even though loneliness has become quite a distressing dis-ease right now. But this way, partnerships start to blossom and loneliness starts to dissolve. And what makes it important is discord in one relationship affects all others. And a simple practice that you can use, and it's a great one to do daily, it doesn't have to take that long. Just choose one person that you can express gratitude towards. It could be a different person each day, Just making gratitude personal is a very special way of bringing this relationship harmony. If you ignore it, you start resurfacing or you get stuck in repetitive relational patterns that are dysfunctional, and you start to experience isolation. And the biggest gift that this hallmark gives to us is that unshakable love and belonging. You literally feel like, you can conquer anything. That's the result of this particular hallmark being activated. Over to you, Sarah. Any particular points or questions?
Well, for me, it's This has been such a graceful way of living. There's this flow and ease and grace. And I've been thinking, well, why live any other way? Why live any other way than
Yeah.
this? I'm going to personally take on the end of day practice about reflecting on, well, what did I feel today? Because that honors all feelings and emotions, but
Yeah.
also in a graceful, elegant, supportive way, conducive to acceptance and embracing all emotions. I think this is such a beautiful way to live with all the resonance and tones and symphony. So thank you. For me, it's been elevating.
You're welcome. I'm going to not rush it. I'm just going to go through how many ever I can go through, perhaps two more, and then we'll complete the rest next week. Because it's such richness in each of these hallmarks rather than just rushing it. I feel I'll just follow the rhythm that I've been following up to now.
And there are no comments yet, so
Okay.
everybody's. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the age of brilliance transmission is a cellular transmission. So there's parts of your body that are receiving various layers of what I'm talking about. And give yourself permission to be with it, for the whole week and see what else surfaces. So the seventh hallmark is spacious timing. Now, what is spacious timing? Spacious timing is trusting and aligning with divine timing. That's what it is. Space, or ether as we call it, is also one of the 5 elements. So when you trust and align with divine timing, you are in this space. How do you activate it? You replace when with what is ready now. This was so massive, by the way. I mean, it's such a massive question to shift from when is this going to happen to what is ready now to occur. There is an ease and grace about that which is occurring. What it makes possible when you switch this question to what is ready now is, patience, of course, and grace. There isn't that rush energy disappears, the bull force energy disappears. Burnout becomes a story of the past. And what is the consequence? What opens up as a result is miracles just land with ease. You stop pushing and you start receiving. That's the impact. And so many of us, over the years, we have engaged in giving, giving, giving. And that is good, but giving without receiving actually depletes you. This is such a simple, easy way to open yourself up to receiving. I know for a fact what unfolded for me when I moved to Bali for 3 weeks and I decided to finally stay there and stayed there for 9 years was I allowed myself to receive. It began with just simply allowing the staff in the resort to serve me because they wanted to. I was the only guest. And I just wanted to be left alone. And I saw the sadness in their face. So I allowed myself to receive. And that opened up the universe to give me so much more that was called for me to transform from the kind of life I was living, one of stress and discord even, and disconnection to my emotions.
Recording in progress.
So you stop pushing and you start receiving. Receiving is equally important. And because I opened myself up, allowed myself to receive, I started receiving these, cosmic downloads. And I allowed myself to receive that and started expressing them. And then I started implementing those downloads. And then more came through. And here I am, fast forward many years later, bringing forth these amazing portals and the wisdom that comes with them. None of this would have been possible if I hadn't allowed myself to receive in the first place. And it's important because forcing timing actually fractures result. So you may get a little blip of a very good result, but you won't get the extraordinary result when you force timing. Allowing it to flow actually gets what is flowing, gets your intention across the finish line. A very simple practice, doing a weekly rhythm check. Are you forcing or flowing? It's like literally a moment, a second to respond to that. And then regrouping yourself so that you get back into flowing. The cost of ignoring this is massive: stress, delay, breakdown, burnout. And the gift is massive. The biggest gift of this is synchronicity becomes your norm. And we already have done the portal on synchronicity and everything that enables. We will continue with the rest of the hallmarks next week. Over to you, Sarah, to conclude.
Well, I feel the grace and the beauty of the harmony. Thank you for the practices as well. I've indicated both reflection, evening reflection on what did I feel today, and the one you just mentioned, to ask oneself, are you forcing or flowing? Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of the weekend. And with that, namaste, namaste, namaste.
Namaste.
Bye-bye, everyone. Experience harmony. Anchors one or two of these hallmarks. Thank you.
Love you. Namaste.
Very enjoy.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Meenu.
Together.
Bye, Meenu.
That was beautiful.
Thank
Love
you.
you. Bye.
Good to see you too, Karen.
Thank
Yeah.
you. It's 3:30 in the morning, but it's
I
great
know,
to
my
be here.
Wonderful to see you. Bye-bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Oh, don't go.